Hello, and welcome to the Kaizen Academy podcast. I'm Justin, and I'm here with my co-host Cal.
Yo,
I've got a new setup today, Cal. I've got a new webcam. I'm sure the quality's
looks
improved
amazing.
much more.
Yeah,
I upgraded my lighting
chef's
and
kiss.
everything. I
Yep.
even I even rearranged my room. Um, so
From
my
last time?
bed. Uh,
Oh,
did,
I
did I
forgot
tell
already.
you that I rearranged my room last time?
I think last time you already rearranged it, right?
Okay, my bad then. But yeah,
Did you
everything's
rearrange it
very nice.
again? Are you
No,
sure?
I didn't. I only
Oh, okay.
rearranged it the one time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Wait, I forgot already. Where is the bed?
So the
From
bed's
the
over there
perspective.
now. Yeah.
Okay. Right, it's on your right side.
Mm, hidden
Right,
from
runs
view.
along the window, is it?
Yeah, runs along the window.
Then what's next to the cupboard behind you?
Nothing. It's like an empty space.
Oh, yeah.
I store random things there. There's like a fan there and everything.
A lot more spacious now.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different apps that students can use, whether you're still in high school or in uni. We're gonna be covering like all sorts of like programs on your computer or your phone that could be useful for you. And all of these are going to be coming from like personal experience because I think, at least for me, like technology has always been a pretty big part of how I've studied. And I think it's gotten even more so over the years. And I've like experimented with a lot of things that have worked, some things that haven't. But I think we've got a lot to go through.
Yeah, I feel like such a novice because we wrote a couple, jotted a couple notes down for this, but in terms of this space, I feel still very new to it. Still like, I think I've just had experiences where I've tried to do so much and then it just never worked out, and then I've learned to just like tone it down and then take things step by step. So I think going into a lot of these apps, just like a bit of a disclaimer, right? Justin is a super advanced app user, and I think just he has like a lot of productivity things going on, but you cannot go 0 to 100 like that. You have to be really careful with this stuff. And if and what I found is just when I went 0 to 100, I was like, oh my god, Justin, when you were showing me all these apps, I was like, let me try all of it. This sounds amazing, right? And then like it doesn't work, and then it leaves like a bad taste. And now it's like I have lost a bit of faith in the app, and I don't want anyone else going through that same experience because now I've been slowly kind of ramping up. I'm really skeptical every time I try to take on a new app, and I really think it's because that first time that I try to go too much with it, it just completely fell apart. I had like 10 apps trying to run 10 apps through my life, and none of them ended up actually working. But yeah, I think just be careful with that, right? Take it step by step, and everyone has a really unique experience. So like with you have all these cool ones. I've listed down some of the ones that I've eventually held on to, but I feel like whatever we say, we are just like touching a slice of what exists out there, and then other people have like tried so many other things. I mean, even like one of the like just taking a quick example. I don't want to like spoil it too much, but like say if you look for like a to do list app, right? If you type in to do list, there's like a billion iterations of the same app, and like while there might be an objectively best one, some people might just like gravitate towards one that might not be the best. You know what I mean? And I kind of gravitated towards one that wasn't that great as well before, and I kind of liked it because it just got the job done. And it wasn't amazing, full of features or whatever. But yeah, it's like the experience is very unique. You got to really try it out for yourself, find what works, and when you kind of take on these things, take it slowly, I guess. But yeah, just a quick disclaimer before we jump into these things.
Yeah, 100%. Like, these apps that I use, I've been adding them over years and years, right? You never want to add too many things at once. Even just like adding two things at once is like pushing it a little bit. You
For
want to add one
sure.
app at a time and then build up like regularly using it and seeing how it fits into your workflow
Mm.
before trying to add on more stuff. Because I think you kind of realize after a while, more is not better. In fact, like you want
Yeah.
as few apps as possible that cover all of your needs. And then, okay, when you have another need that can't quite be covered, that's when you add a new one. You don't want to just
Yeah.
add one because like this is pretty cool. Let me just do this, right?
Okay.
It needs to actually solve a problem.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just like making more work for yourself because
Yeah. I think.
there is a mental cost to like adding like more apps. Right? You just got more
Mm,
stuff to keep track of.
yeah.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I think that was my attitude. I was like, oh, this is cool, and I realized I didn't even have a problem to solve, and I just took it on and I created my own problem from it. Okay, so just the mentality for everyone to as when we go through this, right? I think that's probably the most important thing.
And one quick thing, I wanted to shout out our Instagram. We've had it for a little while now, but we've never mentioned it on the podcast. I've been making a lot of like little carousels, which are just those like sequence of images, where you just like keep swiping and then it's like, ooh, another like slide kind of thing. So a lot of it's like study tips, or if you're still in high school, there's a lot of stuff on high school maths. So check it out at Kaizen Academy AU.
Will
Yeah,
the
let's get,
link be down below?
yeah. The link will be in the
There
YouTube
we go.
description.
That's it. I've watched enough YouTube to know the spiel, like the go with this, the
Yeah.
routine.
Okay. The first app I think is probably the most important, and I'll kind of cover like the broad category of note-taking apps. So I think in high school I took notes on paper in like books and stuff,
Yep.
and my handwriting was so ugly I didn't like take care of it. I never referenced my notes, and it was only after going to uni and like learning how to take notes and trying out digital notes. That's when I started to really like actually use the notes that I wrote. Of course, that's like physical notes are perfectly fine. It's just my handwriting's too ugly.
Mm.
Um, and what's your experience with note taking apps? How do you use them often?
I think that's important what you said right at the end there. It's just like, if it works for you, don't worry. Like,
Mm,
once again, there is no need to be like, digital notes are superior. But I
mm,
have always found so much utility. And I've never had the actual luxury though. Like, sometimes I'll steal Kelly's iPad and write notes on it. Just like have a random app open. Actually, she has a really good app. It's a paid app, but I'll mention it later. But yeah, generally I'll steal her tablet and writing on notes on that. Sometimes it's really nice, but it's very it's more of a novelty for me. I've never really like committed to it. I've never had like my own tablet or anything like that. Um, and I think what you said is really true though. It's like, people bag sometimes. Okay, this is gonna get a bit weird, but you ever feel like sometimes girls will write really neatly, and then people will be like, oh, they'll kind of like undermine the importance of having neat writing because they're just like, oh, girls will just write neat, but then they're not even smart. Like, are you serious? Like, what's going on here? Like, I guess the misogyny just comes out really
sorry.
quickly. But
It just that just reminded me of a meme that I saw the other day,
yeah,
where it
well,
was like girls be like, and then it was like
oh, I
some
love that
girl
one.
writing like slavery and then like adding like love hearts and stuff, and
Or
then
it's
it's like
like,
just like on her notes kind of thing.
yeah. I've seen that. Or it's like med student, so it's like cancer, and then she writes cancer, and it's like, it's like all pretty or something like
Yeah.
that. No, I love that. That was one of my favorite memes, bro. Holy. But I think just coming back to it, having neat writing is so important. Every time I've written notes, I do love having like a booklet. Like at the end of like a massive 3 months of writing notes, I have a booklet to refer to. And if I've written that booklet like neat enough, I do refer to it quite a lot. And I just like having something to hold. Like, oh, look at my hard work, I guess. So writing normal notes is really nice for me, but I did realize that whenever I did build my notes, I had to really focus on writing neatly, or else once again, if I was just writing scribbles, that would just go in the bin. Like there is no differentiation from notes and like just scrap paper, and like yeah, I didn't take it as serious. So yeah, if your handwriting's super neat and you enjoy it as well. That's the other thing. It's like you enjoy writing it. There's like a a sensory that I just love writing on paper. Perfect, because I think you enjoying it is a bit more important than being efficient or anything like that. It's like, do you? But yeah, for me, handwriting has always been really important. When I went to uni, I think I used OneNote. I think everyone used
Mm,
OneNote. It was very, very popular. Um, but then I didn't do very well with that. And then I eventually came back to printing out slides and then just writing on that all over again. So I kind of
mm,
came full circle. It's and that's definitely added to that whole like being skeptical about note taking. But yeah, for me, I'm still a traditional guy and haven't really had any recent experiences where I've needed to take notes. Now I just have like a notepad next to my computer, and I just kind of like jot stuff down.
Mm.
But that's for me. Yeah.
Then I'll just go through the ones I've tested out before. So I've had to like, I've gone through a few iterations. The first,
Yeah.
I've never actually used OneNote, but I did use Google Drive for a while, just like Google Docs and
Yeah.
stuff. That didn't last very long because it's not that well suited for note taking. It's good for writing documents. It's good for like writing an assignment kind of thing. But
Yeah.
the structure I find is just not that well like made for a
Yeah.
note taking app. So I used Evernote for a long time actually, and it was cool. It was kind of my first foray into note taking apps, and it's really useful because like you can store basically like anything in it. You can store like files, you can store like images, whatever kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I've recently made the switch, and I'm very happy that I've made the switch to Notion, which is
Interesting.
another note-taking app, and it is like by far like the one that I would recommend the most to students, because I did have a little bit of an explore as well while I was looking for an alternative. And the biggest reason that I went over to Notion in the first place was because I wanted to be able to write maths, and Evernote didn't have that functionality.
Like equations and stuff.
Equations and stuff.
Okay. Yep.
Maybe they did, but it was like some crappy one. I wanted
Yeah.
to be able to write in like Latex,
Yep.
and they didn't have that. So okay, look, let's see like what does Notion had it, but it has so many more like features that are so much more modern, that
Yeah.
it makes it so useful. They've got like calendars on it. They've got Kanban boards. They've got even like a linked database kind of thing. So like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. So
Right, yeah, I had a little look at it because I was going through because I've never heard of this before, Notion. So is it just like a more powerful? Actually, I don't even know what it looks like. Is it just like a Google Doc, pretty much? At the end of the day, though, because it's like
not really. So what it looks like is on the left, you've got like kind of a sidebar, and that's
Yeah.
all you have all of your different notebooks and stuff in there.
Okay,
And then
yep.
you've got your main note section, like that's like
Yep.
your Google Doc part.
also like OneNote kind of thing then.
Yeah, very similar
bit
to
like
OneNote.
that, yeah.
Yeah. OneNote's pretty similar.
Yeah, but this feels very
There's a lot more
very,
modern. Like OneNote is like over 10 years old, probably.
bro. Yeah, I think that's the gripe that I had with OneNote. It just felt so dated when I used it, and I think, I mean, so just to kind of speak to my experience, like yeah, OneNote was the other one that I spent a lot of time on. But surprisingly, I did not enjoy my time there. I just feel like the folder structure was just a bit overwhelming. The file structure was a bit overwhelming. And I never really, I think it never really was like it never clicked for me, I guess. So yeah, I did use OneNote for a while, just as a PDF, just to kind of write on PDFs as well. But now I use something different. But yeah, Notion, interesting.
So for high school, for all students, I would highly recommend Notion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a few things that I've found the most useful. It uses this thing called Markdown as its markdown language.
Yeah.
Sorry, markup language. And that's just a fancy way of saying like, they just have a predefined style that you need to use. So like, you know how in Google Docs you can change the fonts to like fit your whatever size, like exactly
Yeah.
32 pixels or whatever. This
Yeah.
one, like, it doesn't have that. It's like you have heading 1, which is really big, heading 2,
Yeah.
heading 3. That's
Right.
it. And
Yeah.
then you have just your normal things, your normal writing, you have italics or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that it doesn't give you, the fact that it has a predefined style already just makes things look a lot nicer automatically.
Yeah.
And I find getting rid of that thought of like, okay, I need to like make this like look nicer every single time you write something is it's actually really nice. And
Yeah. Reduces that friction. They kind of just they take on that cognitive load for you, like, because I think regardless of what you think, whenever you set up a document, there's always a I gotta get just like the heading, this heading. Sometimes I'm like I write out a document and I'm like, all right, I need to make this heading this big because I know how many subheadings I need to have, and then it has to like size down and like get so stressed out. Like, oh man, what size do I need? Oh, now I need to upsize everything again. But yeah, I totally get you. If that app could do that for me, I'm very sold. I'm very curious to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a very like unnecessary like use of like your brain power to like always have to think of doing that for every single document. No one else is gonna
Yeah.
see it, but you still need to make it nice for yourself.
Yeah.
So it uses Markdown. You can write in maths using LaTeX, which was a really big driver for me, especially if you're doing like engineering or something in uni where there's a decent amount of maths. It's nice having to like being able to write it down very quickly, as
Yeah.
opposed to finding some like third party option of like creating an image online and saving it. Like it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah. No, that's cool, and kind of getting you used to writing LaTeX. Wait, is this LaTeX? Sorry, when you
Yeah,
write
yeah.
equations, it's pretty much
Yeah.
LaTeX, right?
Yeah.
Getting you used to writing LaTeX early is always good, right? Because I mean, in your professional or your academia writing, it's always LaTeX. I think the earlier you're exposed to it, the better. That's kind of how I found it. So yeah, it's good.
And for students that don't know what LaTeX is, it's just a language. Like you can say it's a programming language to make it simpler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you're just able to write maths equations, right? Because like a lot of times there's a lot of little things like, okay, how do you write a fraction so that the computer understands perfectly?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times there's a lot of ambiguity. So this language just makes it very unambiguous, and you can write a lot of maths with it.
There's just rules for everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't even like calling it a programming language, just because from my experience, it was like when I was told that, I was so intimidated, and I was like, this is just like deconstructed Microsoft Word. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like Microsoft Word does a lot of these things for you, and so you don't get to see it. But with like LaTeX and a LaTeX editor, you just have to write out a couple of things. The templates, you see the coding. Oh, this is heading 1, and this is font size 1, and I need a new line and whatever like that. But yeah, with equations, it's like say in Microsoft Word, if I do like a backward slash, or is that a forward slash? Like if I go 5/10, does that turn it into a fraction? Like there's so much ambiguity. Like how do I get a fraction? How do I raise something to a power? And usually in Word, it's like you have to click off subheading, blah, 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 and you click off equations, and you got to type the equations. It's a bit frustrating, but when you learn LaTeX and Markdown, whatever, it's pretty much inline, right? It's just all keyboard, just like keyboard shortcuts, and like you can write any equation, like integrals, sigmas, like every Greek language possible. Greek letter, sorry, Greek language. But yeah, basically the rundown.
So yeah, Notion. If you're looking for a note-taking app, the one I'd most highly recommend. But I guess on here I saw, since we're talking about LaTeX anyway, you've got Overleaf written down.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, this is.
Oh, sorry. Just to finish off Notion.
Yes. Yes.
And the final reason it's good is because you can use it anywhere. So there's a phone app, desktop apps for both Mac and Windows, and there's a web version as well. So even if you're using like Ubuntu or something, you can still have access to it.
Oh right,
so it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But
What is that? Is that cloud? Is that?
Sorry.
Nothing. Don't worry. Software as a service. Sorry, this is all I've been learning the last 2 weeks. So it's like, oh, this cloud product can be accessed anywhere. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, Overleaf, LaTeX editor. It's everyone at uni was using this when we were doing our thesis, and like it felt like I was late to the game almost. But it was pretty much like Google Docs, but for LaTeX. So LaTeX documents, and you can just share it like Google Docs. And if you're a student, you get, so like the normal account, you can only share, I think, one document between 2 people or 3 people max. But if you're a student and you use your student account and your university has like some kind of agreement with them, which there's a high chance of it, you can have like pretty much a premium account. So I've been using the premium account, and it's super good because it's like, if I want to write LaTeX, say I'm writing worksheets, I'm building worksheets in LaTeX, and I want to collaborate with that. Because normally LaTeX, if you're doing it locally, it's pretty intimidating. It's like files and stuff. You have a whole bunch of files, and it's like, yuck. But this, it's like, throw all the files onto the account that you have on Overleaf, and it just handles everything. And it's like, it's super intuitive, very easy to use. And I felt like that was my introduction into LaTeX, and it was super, super like, just the opposite of intimidating. I can't pull the word out of the air right now, but it was like, oh, this is so easy to use. It's just like Google Docs, and it's just typing, and it will like compile the like you'll type in your code on one side, and then it'll compile on the other side. You can see your sheet immediately. So I really like that, and just the collaborative side of it is really important. Like sometimes we build out worksheets, and it's like, oh, can I edit this latex sheet, and it's like, oh, send me all the files or whatever. But instead, it's just like, no, just throw it onto Overleaf, and then we can just hop on. I can make edits, save it as a PDF, and then re-upload it somewhere. And then you want to make edits, you can jump on and do it as well. So yeah, I really like that a lot of, and especially when we're working on our thesis, it was pretty much like, all right, or like any like group project report, there'll be like a big report that we have to write in LaTeX because it's, you know, we've got to follow the rules of academia, I guess. And yeah, it allowed us to all just hop on, add our part, boom, done. Super cool. As easy as Google Docs, in my opinion, in terms of the collaboration. So yeah, I really like that. And just that whole aspect of if you're at a uni, there's a high chance of that uni allowing you to, or giving you the opportunity to use like a premium account as well. But yeah, Overleaf, check it out. Google Docs for LaTeX.
Yeah, and like you're on the button with that one. It's such a pain in the butt to like set up like LaTeX like locally.
Yeah. It's
I don't know
scary
why.
almost, man.
I don't know why it's so complicated, but
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, Overleaf, you literally just like sign up and then like you open it up. It's like Google Docs. It's right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
This is very much more for uni students. If you're a high school student, you probably don't need this yet.
I had one of my students write his reports. He was in year 12 and he wrote his reports on LaTeX. I was very impressed.
That was very impressive, yeah.
I think it was for his engineering reports and stuff like that, which was very in line with what he'll eventually do anyway. So I was like, yeah, go for it, man. Like, just learn
learning
it.
that skill early. Like,
yeah.
if you're interested, it's a good skill to learn.
It is 100%.
But if you're a uni student, we would, especially if you need to do a thesis at some point, just get started on it early. Like learn how to use LaTeX early. Just pop open Overleaf.
Yeah, but this is also like technical writing, right? Like if you're in more of like an arts degree where you're writing that type of writing, you know what I mean? Like what we're talking about with LaTeX, it's you're leveraging the fact that you can write mathematical equations and it's built around like the technical engineering-y kind of industry. I don't know, actually. That's kind of my experience so far. Does it go, the utility go beyond that?
I think it goes beyond that. I think
most, okay. I'll take that back.
Like almost all research papers are written in LaTeX.
Okay, yep.
But yeah, Overleaf. I've also had a bit of experience with it. I was using it when I was working at UNSW. It was good.
All right, definitely. But actually, I wanted to jump back to your note taking when you were using Google Drive.
Yeah.
How did that work? Because I actually find myself doing that quite often, and I think there is a bit of an advantage from what I imagine so far. It's like sometimes I write notes and I need to get to something immediately, and I need something like non-confrontational. I don't want to open up a big fancy app so complex. I just want to go like sometimes I'll have something to write down. I'll have some notes to jot down, and like the first thing I go to is I'm on my Google Drive and I go boom, new document, and I hop in untitled document. I just start spamming and just go kind of like brain dump, and then name the document and then I save it. I've actually done that quite a while, and you mentioned that I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was note taking using Google Drive. But I do agree that there is no file structure, there is no way of organizing anything. You have to organize it yourself, and if you want to take notes seriously, because I was doing it very casually, it's like once in a while. So I'll have like a couple documents like in my Google Drive, just like stray documents like how does Tor work, or how does Bitcoin work, like these notes that I had to take down for like some subjects and stuff like that, and I just brain dump. I remember writing those down, but I never got any deeper than that. And I was wondering, did you have like, was there also a method to madness for when you were doing that, or were you also just like write a note, the Google Docs there kind of thing?
It was very much like all over the place. Like I had like folders specifically for like, okay, this is for like brainstorming, or like this is for uni, this one's for my finances, this one's for whatever. And then whenever I needed to jot something down quickly, like you were just saying, I would go to the appropriate folder, just make the doc, or write what I needed. But that's actually like, or in all honesty, slower than using a note-taking app.
Yep.
I find Google Drive is a bit slow, but there is that initial cost of like learning like installing all of those apps on your
Yeah.
computer and whatever. But
With
once
a
you've
lot of
got
features, yeah.
well, once you've got them installed and you already like know how to use them a little bit, they're very fast. But the advantage of Google Drive is like it's just so simple that,
Yep.
and it's already pre-installed and like
Yeah,
on like
it's like
Android and everything.
don't even need effort. It's just there. So yeah, super easy, I guess, for casual note taking. But I would also agree, if I ever tried to take it a step further, I was already losing my mind. Like I couldn't find documents that I wrote like the other day. I forgot to name it. It's like untitled document 300, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god, I can't find this really important thing that I need to read. So yeah, definitely, if you take your note taking a bit seriously, not to use Google Drive, but a good casual starter though, definitely.
Okay. Next one I've got written down is Anki. So Anki is a flash card app.
Oh,
So it's very cool. It's based on this idea called spaced repetition, and there was like some paper in that while back. But the gist of it is, it'll automatically remind you when you need to revise a certain flashcard. It's like, ooh, it's been 6 days since you've revised this, and based on our algorithm, we think you're gonna forget it soon. So you got to revise it, and then okay, you've revised it. Next one will be in like 13 days, and it gets longer and longer because the more you revise, it becomes more and more permanent. So you
Yeah.
need to revise it less, but it's based on a spaced repetition system,
so
which is
there's
really
like
cool.
thought put into when they remind you, like built on that whole philosophy of space repetition. That is
Yeah.
cool.
Based on
Man.
like hard research, actually. It's like
Yeah.
like scientific research. So it's not even like it goes beyond a step further than like a guy had a good idea. This is like
Yeah.
they've got the
Like the most
timings like
optimal
down.
time to revise this thing so that you can commit it to long-term memory or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Right. Dude, that's mad. I bet all the med kids use this already.
yeah, for sure.
This is like a
Med
big
kids
med
love
thing, yeah.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
this is,
Flashcards, they love it.
they do. It's not the best looking flashcards app in the world because it's pretty old, but it's got the most. It's the most flexible. And after testing things out, I've genuinely found the flexibility to be worth way more. So it's on multiple. Again, it's on multiple platforms, so it makes things very very easy. You can use the web version, you can use desktop, you can use mobile. All of them are free except for the iPhone version. That one costs money for some reason, but everything else is free.
Nice.
So Android is the superior race.
Yeah. I was scared that
in
this
this- in
conversation
this-
was going to turn into that, though. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
Android over iPhone. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also have a couple things where I'm like, yeah, this app that I'm going to tell you guys about on the iPhone, it costs like $5, but everywhere else it's free.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I guess that's like a common thing, but yeah. So with this one, you can pretty up your flashcards. You can like even write in Latex. So like I wrote my maths equations and stuff on there. So it's very
That's
flexible.
good.
A lot of other flashcard apps on the internet, they don't have that functionality,
Yeah.
which is why Anki is like, in my opinion, the best one. So if you're in the need for flashcards app, use Anki.
Sweet.
What's one that you've got, Cal?
Oh yeah, true.
Oh,
I
sorry.
should just like throw in, because we were already talking about OneNote before.
Yeah.
And if you're currently using OneNote for like just jotting or annotating, that's it, annotating PDFs. If you're using OneNote for annotating PDF, I do not like the whole, like I mentioned before, the whole file system that OneNote has. And so we recently got what was it, Drawboard, and it cost a little bit, but we managed to find a sale and we got it for free. And I've been using it quite a lot when I teach, and if I'm doing a worksheet, I always jump to Drawboard now. It's, I'd say like a touch slower when I turn it on. It takes a little longer. I'm giving like a full review, but everything else I'm a big fan of. Like really, they've really thought out. It's a well thought out annotating system, and I'm sure OneNote has the same thing, but this is just much cleaner. Of like okay, you need PDFs, upload the PDF, just start writing on it. It'll auto save for you. When you exit, you can save to your PDF and stuff like that. anytime I need to sign like a document online, that really helps as well. Obviously, we're assuming you either have like a tablet or like a touch screen with a pen activated. But yeah, I've been using Drawboard, and one of my students was really into it. So I thought it would be good to kind of throw it out there. They do have sales once in a while, so if you keep an eye out for it, you can get it for free. And I think it's a really worthwhile application, like for Windows, that is. If you're on an iPad, the go-to that everyone knows is just GoodNotes. GoodNotes is like the most powerful thing. Every time I've seen people use GoodNotes, it's like unbelievable. Like I had like this whiteboarding event at work the other day, and like she was just like explaining the company kind of thing and like the hierarchy, and she was drawing at the same time, and like it was just everything was so pretty, and she did it all in this one app, and the app was just like really smooth. But yeah, I think if you're on an iPad, if you're on an iPad, you just go straight to GoodNotes. It does cost, but once again, it's one of those things where I've just found like, yeah, I know why it costs money, and like I know why people buy it. It literally is worth it. Like if you try to find a free solution, they're always like some dingy. It's always missing something, right? And then you pay like that extra little bit, and it's like, oh god, I have all the functionality that I actually need and want. So yeah, I do rate Drawboard.
Yeah, and like with free apps as well, you're always a bit scared that it's no longer going to be supported at like some point as well. When you pay for it, you have a lot more confidence in like its in its longevity. Yeah, if you want an annotation app, so Drawboard if you're on Windows, and GoodNotes if you're on Mac. And
Yeah,
I've
iPads.
personally used Drawboard. Really nice, very nice UI. Much better than OneNote.
Yeah, the OneNote feels like you said when you mentioned like, oh yeah, it's dated. Oh, you feel it, man. You feel it. It's just so old. Like they have not updated the UI or anything like that in ages. I apologize for that. I kind of my AirPods just died out for a second. And
All good. All good. All good. Okay. So we've covered that. Next thing I've got down is apps that kind of block you from being distracted. And this is like a very broad category, and I am very well versed in this area because I constantly need to block myself from distractions. Otherwise, I get no work done.
yeah, I also concur. Same with me.
So the first one I wanted to talk about is cold turkey. This is the best one I found. I think it's Windows only,
Yeah,
but it's the one that is the hardest to get around. That I found so far. I'm sure there's ways to get around it, but I haven't found them yet. I'm not actively looking for them, but sometimes in moments of weakness, you try get past your blockers, and then
yeah,
like go watch some YouTube videos or something.
yeah.
Cold turkey, I haven't found the way out yet. No one tell me if you like. Don't tell me if you
If you know.
figured it out. Don't comment anywhere.
True.
Like, don't tell me.
Actually,
Um,
the ignorance.
yeah, I want to stay ignorant. Freedom, I've found ways around it. But the good thing about Freedom is that it's cross-platform, so it can block you. It can block your websites. It can block apps. It can. Cold turkey can do that as well. But Freedom is on your computer, and it's also on your phone. So both Mac and Windows, and like Android and iOS. It's like everywhere. So it's and both of these are paid. Sorry. So cold turkey, you've got to pay for the premium version, which is quite worth it. I think it allows you to do scheduling and stuff. So like it's blocked for these times,
Yeah,
as opposed to I think the free version allows you to just be like, okay, I need to work for 3 hours starting from now. But I find scheduling is the way to go with these types of things. Freedom, it's also paid. I don't think there's a free version, but it's pretty good as well. The benefit is that it's cross-platform. I personally have both
Yep.
because I need it to stop me from
yeah. Build a lot of friction.
build as much friction as possible.
It is.
You don't
yeah.
need to get both, obviously, but it's good sometimes if you need it.
Yeah.
Another one that I've used is Stay Focused. This is an Android exclusive, and this is kind of my second layer on my Android. So I have Freedom, and I also have Stay Focused. to like
Yeah.
keep me honest.
Yeah.
Um, and I also have two like more like the Chrome plugins. One is called Newsfeed Eradicator. So what it does is it just wipes the newsfeed away from Facebook. So you still have your groups, your chat, your like search and everything, but it's
Yeah.
just the newsfeed is like replaced with an inspirational quote, which
Serious?
is
You can
very
do
nice.
that?
Yeah, yeah. It's just a Chrome plugin, Newsfeed
Bro.
Eradicator.
Yo, damn, I need that, man. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I love how Facebook gives me access to all these groups. I'm in a lot of groups and stuff like that. And I like to kind of keep my, but I hate literally everything else. Like, oh, so much, like, just reading through what people are commenting on. I'm like, I do not care, man. I'm just in these groups that I want to hear about. Like, okay, what's the news here? Oh, we got an event. Okay, I need the group there. Dude, this is mad. I need to try this, man. Far out. Thanks
Yeah,
for
and it's
putting me
like,
on that.
and like it's not as simple as like, oh, if you don't want to read the newsfeed, just don't read it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if it's there, you're gonna read it. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to fight that impulse.
Dude,
But
muscle
it's not
memory
there.
almost.
Yeah.
I've got that muscle memory. I scroll through the newsfeed like, oh, it's bad. It's just so bad. I hate it. I hate it about myself. I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna legit download this like right after this. 100%.
Sorry, this is on just on the desktop though. It's not on
Yeah, yeah. And I'm mostly
not
on
on phone.
Facebook
Yeah.
on my desktop. I've recently deleted Facebook off my phone just so I don't have. It's like I realized I would be on Facebook here and then I would just jump to Facebook on my phone. It's like, wait, I'm scrolling through the same thing. What am I doing? I think in that moment I was like, oh, I felt like a cog in the wheel. I felt like just completely brainwashed by all these social medias. So yeah, I was like, all right, delete it off there. I don't need it. I just have. Luckily, they separate it as well. It's like Messenger. You can have Messenger.
Yes.
You don't need Facebook. I'm like, oh god, thank the Lord. But yeah, I don't have.
If
I
someone
don't
from
have
Facebook's listening, please make like an app where it's just Messenger and like events.
groups. Oh,
Yeah.
fire.
Like sometimes like I need to get the address of like a party I'm going to,
Yeah.
and then I have to
You
go
have
on
your
like,
blocker.
I have my blocker. I'm like,
Bro, what are you even gonna do? Yeah, straight up. I think
Um,
that's scary. That's why I don't have some of those cold turkeys on. But also
Yeah.
that's just an excuse so then I can enjoy my freedom.
yeah.
Uh,
um, at least you know it's an excuse.
that's the first step to working on it. Acknowledgement. I've acknowledged it.
And the final one is very similar. It's called Distraction Free for YouTube, another Chrome plugin, and it basically just removes your like homepage, and like your subscriptions and stuff. And if you want to find the video, you have to specifically search for it. And once you've searched for it, the only thing there is the video. So no recommended
suggestions.
videos, no suggestions, no
Ooh.
comments. It's just the video. Because sometimes when you're studying, right, you need to like pull up like an Eddie Wu video or like an MIT lecture or whatever, right? But then the second you go on YouTube, you see like a flashy thumbnail and like, I want to go watch this for a second.
Dude, yeah, and
rid of
we
that.
know like they spend billions of dollars like designing their websites so that they can retain you as long as possible. So it's like you are fighting this conglomerate. Like it's very hard. We spoke about this last time. It's like, whenever you dabble in that while you're trying to do work, it's so hard to get out of it because they've literally put like years and years of research in, right? This is mad. I've never heard about this, Justin. That's freaking awesome. So it's like not going completely cold turkey, but allowing you to use it because yes, YouTube is feel like it is just as important as some other resources out there when you're studying, but making sure that YouTube is not like gonna suck you into this abyss of like 6 hours down some rabbit hole. And we all have been there. It's like it's so frustrating sometimes.
100%. So like, there's heaps of different programs like these. Are there any that you wanted to mention, Kel?
I don't have any specific Chrome plugins, but for me, in terms of the cold turkey apps, I still use Forest, and what is it like? I'm just like a sucker for little like cute things kind of thing, because, and I talked about this last time, but the Forest app is just like a little timer. It's really just a Pomodoro app, where you grow a tree. And on top of that, I think, and that's the one app that has stuck with me the longest. So I think it's been tested, and I enjoy using that. And you get like a lot of coins, and then with the coins, you can get yourself a little new trees, and you can grow different types of trees, and they have like a whole marketplace of different trees. So there's a bit of like a gamify aspect that they gamify the experience a little bit. And look, I'm a sucker for it. Like sometimes I'm very cynical. I'm like, like I don't need you to gamify this. Like, what am I, 5? And then also at the
I'm
same
an
time,
adult.
yeah, at the same time, or also want to get this new tree, so I'll study a little more, get some more coins, and then get
Hey.
this bonsai or something like that that I want to grow. So it does work. I do enjoy it, and I remember my last cohort. We all used it. A lot of my students use it as well.
That's nice.
Yeah. So and you can, if you have like a group of friends, I think you could do like group studies, like group pomodoros. So like everyone just stuck in the same pomodoro. It will lock your phone down. Oh, and by the way, the app pretty much just locks your phone down, and it locks you to that app where you grow that tree for however long you set for yourself, and it just doesn't allow you to jump to any other app or exit the app for that time being. And you can set exceptions and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. It's like there's a very nice novelty aspect to it, so I do enjoy using that when I study sometimes, or if I need to get work done and I'm just not getting it done. And then on top of that, I've been using on my Android phone, I've been using this app. I didn't realize it was a separate app. I thought it was baked into Android, but it's an app that's provided by Google. So if you have an Android, I think they just give it to you automatically, just like your Google calendars and stuff like that. But it's digital well-being, and it's the same as the other one, but because it feels much more baked into the phone itself, it doesn't feel like, oh, I have to download another app to then block every app. It's like, no, your phone has its own way of blocking stuff for you. So I really like that. I didn't have to download it. It just exists, but I realized that if you don't have it, you can download it and it will just work very seamlessly. I've just set myself a schedule 9 to 5. It blocks all of my TikToks and all of my Twitters and all of that, and then you can take breaks. So like when I go toilet, or if I go for a lunch break, I'll take a break from that for 30 minutes, and we'll unlock for 30 minutes, and we'll jump back later on. And obviously there are workarounds, right? It's no like lock you out forever. But sometimes I think the majority of us, we just need that tiny bit of friction, because we know what we're supposed to be doing. We just need that little bit of a help, like to get us along the way. And for me, that's been working really well. I really like that.
Oh, dude, I didn't know about this at all.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
And I like that whole idea of you can schedule it. So I never think about it anymore. It's just the second 9 o'clock, boom, and then yeah, it's just
Because
locked out for
the
like
problem
another
with
6
a lot
hours.
of the apps that I use are the fact that it's third party, so it's a lot easier to get around compared to like an actual app built by Google. Because I knew iOS had something for a while where it was like something baked into the operating system. Oh, everything all good, Cal? Hello?
I'm so sorry. It died again on me. I've no reason. Don't even know what's going on.
Yep.
I was gone for like the last 30 seconds.
Yep.
Sorry,
Okay.
Justin.
All good, all good. Yep. So a lot of problems with like apps on my phone. It's the fact that they're third-party apps. So sometimes there's like workarounds and stuff. But if it's built by like Google, like they make like they own Android, I would imagine it's got like special like privileges and stuff. So
Yes.
I want to definitely check that out, because I know I was saying iOS has had one for a little while as well,
Oh
which I thought
yes,
was
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I've seen that as well. But you know what? Like my ultimate, something that's I found really successful, and it's not even an app anymore. It's just I've just separated myself into 2 phones. I told you about this before, right?
Ooh,
Just straight up, like I have my work stuff on one phone. That's the phone I keep on me at all times. I have messaging. I have Facebook Messenger, and like that's pretty much it. But then beyond that, I everything else, all the fun stuff, is all on my Android phone, and that I don't try to keep on me as often as the others. And I've also like kind of gone away from like trying to get myself the latest phone. I've kind of gone in retrograde almost, like because I'm really attracted to like give me a super simple phone that can do just enough. Don't give me a phone that's so advanced that can do anything and everything. So I'm back on like the iPhone 6S. I've gone back like 5 years, just to. I'm like, I just need something that works. Like, get me
yeah.
some. And I've been really attracted. Like, have you seen how Nokia has been releasing like those old brick phones again?
No, I haven't.
Or like similar to the phone that you made Colin use for the
Oh yeah,
year
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah,
HSC.
yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
making like new versions of these old phones that can do basically call and like very few things, right? And I really wanted to get myself one of those just because they're like $100, and it's like if I put my SIM in that one, like I get all the things done, and then maybe I have another phone somewhere else that I can get to at the end of the day, and I can go on check social media once in a while. But the main phone that I have can't really do much. And I remember there was a Kickstarter for this as well. Like some company made like a tiny phone that was uh it was like tethered to your main phone, but it had limited functionality and it had like crazy battery life. But I was inspired by that. I was like, oh, true. It would be so nice to be able to separate myself. So on my iPhone, it's just messaging, any work stuff, email, calendar, all of the important notifications, and then like Spotify. That's it. Because I just need my music done. That's all. And then every single thing like Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, all that nonsense, all on the Android phone. And I think that's definitely helped me just because, I mean, what better friction than literally to separate myself and just lock that phone. It's so much easier to lock that phone away, like instead of having to compartmentalize inside your one phone. And I feel like I'm speaking from like a lot of luxury, like a lot of privilege, like to have these two phones. So very blessed, but these are very old phones. I've gone back and like made my old phone my main phone just because I was like, they get better and better, but it's like, yes, all this amazing functionality has just made me more like distracted. Like, oh, now I can watch amazing movies on my phone, and like, it's like, okay, none of that actually is really important to me anymore. Like, but I was really attracted to that before. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. If anyone wants to try that out, if you have a spare phone, maybe, right?
Yeah, I've been meaning to like do something like that. Oh man, what's happened?
What's going on?
Oh no, I think your phone died or something.
Oh, my phone died. Oh yeah.
Okay, all good, all good. As long as the call is still going.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to do something like that. But I need to wait until I want to buy a new phone, and then my current phone will become my main phone, which is like just the basic one, and then the new phone will be for all the distractions. Because what I found, I need to often like post stuff, and then I like take photos or whatever. So I need a good camera for that. But
yes, that's true. I probably would recommend an iPhone, to be honest, though, Justin.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's just like, I know it's like the thing is just like, I think, I don't even know why we're talking about this, but apps are just like they work harder to optimize their apps with iPhones. So like, like the iPhone camera might not even be that good, but every time I take a snap on the iPhone camera, it looks way better than say a objectively better camera on an Android phone, right? So yeah, it's just and at the end of the day, the new iPhones do technically have really good cameras. But yeah, that was kind of my thing. So now actually I do have Snapchat on my iPhone. That's it. That's the only thing, and then everything else is all just work. And then any type of like feed social media, so Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, anything I can just like sink too many hours in, all on my Android. Saves me a lot of time there.
Fair. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Indeed.
Which is a password manager. Okay. So
they actually got me using this at work.
Oh, which one do they use?
They use LastPass. They force everyone to use LastPass, actually.
Yeah. It's good on them. Your security is very important. So basically what a password manager is, or what LastPass is an app that stores all your passwords. You can generate new passwords. So like, and then whenever you log into a website, a little notification will pop up, and it will be like, "Do you want to save this?" You click yes if you do, and the next time you come back here, it will autofill onto whatever website it is.
Yep.
The reason this is good is because like, why don't you just remember like yourself on the website kind of thing, right? Where it's like if you clear your cookies, that's gone, and then like you go through the hassle of having to like, oh, what was my password again? I've got to go like do whatever, like go reset it, and then it's a pain in the butt. And also, what you tend to do when you like use passwords like that manually is you tend to repeat the same password, which is really bad because if someone gets access to, some like random, like, I don't know, meme website or something, or
Yeah.
whatever people do.
Just a low
Is
priority
a
like
low priority
account that you
website.
have, yeah. And then they
Yeah.
have access to everything else.
Yeah. Like if you use the same website, even if you use variations of the same password, if they have like something to work from, it makes it orders of magnitude easier. So it's really important to use a password manager.
Are you paid, bro?
LastPass,
Are you paid by LastPass? This
I'm
is a
not.
sponsored.
I wish. I wish.
Sounds good, but yeah, they force.
Um,
But doesn't Google Chrome do that for us, anyways? Now.
I haven't, because I was using LastPass before Google.
Oh, Chrome started doing
Google
this.
started doing this
Yeah.
thing, but then
Yeah.
like, well, LastPass is also like on your phone, so like you can fill it out on your phone and stuff. I'm not sure if Google does that.
Yeah,
They might.
Google only does it inside the web browser.
Yeah.
Wait, could I just quickly ask? Because I'm still a bit skeptical. I still haven't actually full onboard like transferred everything onto my LastPass. Also, it's because it's like it feels like a big task to migrate all of my passwords onto something like that.
Yeah.
But like, let's say I have LastPass on my phone. Does every app then just install like that? Like the passwords can hop into my apps. Like if I open Snapchat and haven't logged in, would LastPass on my phone log in for me?
No. So, what will happen is when you go to log in,
Yeah.
it'll have the two things, like the two lines, and then like you click it, and then a little thing will pop up. Like you hold it, and then a little thing will pop up. It's like, do you want to fill with LastPass?
Oh.
It's like you click yes, and then like a little list of like possible websites, because they don't know 100% often. They can kind of guess what app it is,
Yeah.
but they will like list out a few things. Maybe you have like multiple Snapchat
Yeah.
accounts. You just
Yeah,
click
true.
the one you want, and then it'll log in. Sometimes it's a bit it's not smart enough. It's a bit too like it doesn't pop up. So once in a while, you've got to just like copy and paste it from your LastPass app
Yeah.
on your phone. It's quite
Yeah.
rare, but it does happen here and there.
I think phones and just web browsers these days are trying to do that themselves as well, though. Like every time I log into something on my iPhone, the iPhone saves it somewhere. And that's in like my iCloud. And so when I hopped on a new phone, it's like, all right, I already got the passwords for you. But it's not perfect. I've been looking for, I might just just bite the bullet and kind of migrate everything over to LastPass. I haven't actually done that yet, but I've been meaning to.
I think Google and like Apple are probably moving in that direction, where they'll probably come up with a solution where it's a password manager for like
Yeah.
all Google
Everything.
products or like all
Yeah.
Apple products. In that case, I personally might make the switch. I'd need to like look into how much of a risk it is. Like, how do I really trust Google with like all of my information? Like, they
Yeah.
already have like know so much
They already
about me.
have,
Do I
yeah.
want to give them all my passwords as well? I probably
Just take
will.
it.
Because LastPass, I don't know how much I trust them as well, but I've read into their architecture, and it's really cool how they make sure that they don't even store your passwords. What they have are like completely encrypted versions of your passwords. So even if like the government was like, give us all of your passwords,
They wouldn't even know.
they technically don't even have your passwords.
Is this kind of like public key, secret key kind of thing? Private key? It's like you
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
private key and you're the only one that can unlock those unencrypted passwords, eh?
Yeah. It's a lot of like
Damn.
a lot of encryption
Cool.
stuff.
But whatchamacallit? I think it speaks volumes if an enterprise like my company is like, they literally onboard you. A part of onboarding you to the company, it was like, all right, here's your premium LastPass account. Use it. Because they're also very like, oh, don't let people know about this, don't let people know about that. And security is a really big thing there as well. But yeah, I think that's definitely a testament to how good LastPass is.
So yeah, like LastPass, like again to reiterate, like for students especially, and I know it's a bit of a pain, but it's better to do this early on than
Yeah.
to like wait to do it when you're like a lot older.
That's
Early
me.
you get on, the
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Because one, you never have to go through that pain of like, oh, what was my password again? Like having to fill it out. That experience surprisingly adds up. Like you probably do it like, I don't know, like 50 times a year. Like, oh, what was that again?
Yeah.
So just save yourself that trouble. It really it honestly like offloads like a lot from your mind. It's one of the few things that I've implemented that has actually made me feel like, oh, I just have like less anxiety in general now.
Oh, true. Like, genuinely, your life has improved.
Yes, like genuinely, my life has improved, and it's very clear after starting to use a password manager.
Oh, far out. All right, I'm sold, man. I'm sold. You've made a good case, a very good case. Like you were saying, don't be like me. I've waited so long. I have so many passwords that thinking about migrating to LastPass like is scary. It's just like, oh man, it's gonna take me hours to like get all these passwords over, and like it's already baked into my Google Chrome, so like that's my safe space. But man, I kind of want it now.
I would highly recommend it. Next one I've got written down is a calendar app. Specifically for me, I use Google Calendar. I find it's like a really nice UI. I use mostly like Google stuff, right? We use like G Suite for our business. I mostly use like Android stuff. So yeah, Google Calendar
Integrated
it's
so well.
everywhere. It's integrated so well. It's everywhere.
So well.
And you need a calendar app. You definitely you need to use a
100%.
calendar app.
My first and I remember like my first step into this, and we spoke. I feel like we spoke about this like 1 year ago, one of our first podcasts. But like my first step into like using apps and just trying to reorganize my life was just getting a calendar, and it could just be as simple as that. That's all you need. Like getting a calendar that will sync up with other parts of your life, syncing up with work, syncing up with uni. What are my uni schedules? What's my classes look like? Having that was just like similar to what you said about LastPass, just like a step above. Like my life has improved this amount, and I could clearly see the improvement. So I think, yeah, for me personally, it's a personal experience. But if there's anything that you don't have yet and you want to bring on, the calendar is definitely the most important.
Yes.
So important.
You got to know when things are happening to like be able to prepare for them, right?
Yeah.
So for students specifically, write down when all of your exams are, like having it in a visual place where you can like see things going on, like put it on your bookmarks, because things sneak up on you if you're not able to see like when they're coming. It's like, oh man, my exam is like in a week and a half now. Like I didn't even like realize.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you have a calendar, you can see, okay, this month I've got like exams like in a couple of weeks. Let's start bringing myself into that mindset of like preparing for them.
Yeah. Having enough of those like sneak up moments just leaves such a bad taste, and you're like, I just hate uni. That was my experience. I was like, I've had so many of these snuck up on me. Like, are you serious? Another assignment next week? Oh my lord! And then just I hate this place. But then once I kind of squashed that issue, it's like, kind of enjoy this. And I don't know, maybe we're on the back foot of things. I feel like some students they're super advanced. They're already on this in year 10 or something like that. So
Doesn't
we might be
everyone use a
preaching to the
calendar
choir.
app?
Yeah, it took me ages to figure this out, but
Yeah. No,
if anyone's still not there, hop on it.
I only started using calendar in uni, and like my high school life was filled with anxiety. Like you just feel like, oh, I'll probably have assignment to do like next week.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like take my mind somewhere else and play games.
Yeah.
I'm filled with anxiety.
The notifications like scrunched up somewhere in the bottom of your bag or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
with the calendar, you get that notification, you just jot it in, throw it in immediately, done. Okay, now you just forget about it, right? As in, forget about worrying about it. It's just like you have things in place to take that load off of your mind. Spend that energy somewhere else, more productive, right? But yeah, Google Calendar changed my life, man.
Saved my life. Google Calendar saved my life.
My marks were like legit night and day. Like went from failing to absolutely killing at uni.
Hey.
Just small trick. That was the one small trick. With this one simple trick, this student was able to master everything.
Teachers hate him.
Teachers hate this guy. He downloaded Google Calendar. That's really all he did, man. Far out.
And finally, like along these same lines is get a to-do list app. I use Todoist. It's got a great interface. It's on mobile, desktop, and web.
Yeah.
It's got like all the features I need, and like you were saying before, there's so many options to choose from. If you're not bothered to like go searching for one, I'd just say use Todoist. It's really good.
Yeah,
What about you, Cal?
definitely. And I'm on board. I'm on the Todoist board now as well. Like like I was using just some other random one a year ago or like a couple months ago, and just like it worked, and it worked surprisingly well, even though it was like extremely bare bones. It really just was nothing. And I think the only thing that was going for it was like it was cross-platform, and cross-platform is really important. But yeah, to do is so many functions that are built in. But at the same time, it can be a bit overwhelming. So if you're starting out, yeah, try it out. But it doesn't have to be like the goat, and don't try to adjust yourself for the app. Make sure that they are working for you. You're you're finding solutions for yourself, right? Nothing is wrong with you. You don't need to change your lifestyle habits to kind of adjust to these apps that you think are cool. It's you find the right app that works for your life, your workflow, and you kind of make it the other way around. Don't become a slave to those things, right? And kind of fall into that whole, oh, this app's cool. Let me try to change my way of working just so I can use this app in my life because it looks pretty or something like that. Just make sure that you take it on one at a time, and you if it works, then it works. But if it doesn't, there are so many out there, like so many. If you type in to-do list, there are like a billion. Every major corporation has made their own. Microsoft has made their own. I bet Google has their own. Yeah, Google does have their own one, I think.
It's not very good.
Yeah, but it's not very good. Yeah, definitely. Apple has their own probably everywhere. Apple has like the reminders app and stuff like that. But yeah, some of them can get you through, but some of us might need a bit more. And yeah, Todoist is just so feature rich. I think one of the most feature rich ones that I've ever used.
Yeah, so like the benefits of Todoist, like you can make like subtasks within your task. Like that's often like the case, right? You've got like, I need to do my assignment, but there's a lot of steps within doing your assignment, and it's good to like have it all listed out. You can attach comments, so you can like, okay, I need to remember to use this website, or like attach a file to it. You can do all of that, but what I find the most useful is the fact that you can nest your tasks within folders as well, and you can nest those folders within other folders, and that's very useful it's very flexible if it's like the way you think or how you organize your life. So Todoist, very good. And if you're more of an iOS like Mac user, or you're spoiled for choice, they have so many like different like nice looking apps that just play around with it. I'm sure there are like YouTube videos that kind of review them.
Top 10, yeah.
Yeah, like I've never used it, so I can't speak to them too much, but they're very spoiled for choice over there.
Apple's always spoiled for choice. The App Store is just so rich, like so many options out there. And when I was saying that, I literally meant because like I think yesterday I was just migrating to my new phone and I was just downloading Todoist, and there was just like a billion other ones, and they all looked just as good. They all looked just as like fully fledged, developed properly. Like, and I was like, God damn, there are so many out here. So yeah, serious. Spoiled for choice is the perfect way to describe it.
And that is it. That's everything we've written down, Cal. Any final thoughts?
I think the subtasking thing is something I just wanted to like emphasize. Something that changed big. Okay, it wasn't as big as say getting the calendar, but it was like a big shift in how I worked. And it really opened up like this, because I think we were using ClickUp for a while, and I used it for my last intern. So when we worked on like different software projects, and I was working on different parts of the web platform that I was building out. The projects was never do this one thing. It's always like so many subtasks that you need to like go through, and like I found it so effective whenever I had a big project. I would sit down and I'd take like 30 minutes out of my day to just break that task down and plan out what I needed to do and have them all in these subtasks. And then when I came back to it, I could jump back in with so much context. I was like, oh, okay, I'm up to this like third step, and then boom, 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 boom. And it was just so nice. I think a lot of times we get so scared of these assignments, and it's like, oh, because the assignment just feels like this one big thing. But breaking it down has been so helpful for me. And you can do it on that Todoist. So I've transferred. So I was on ClickUp, now on Todoist. But yeah, that subtasking is really helpful for me.
Awesome. All right. Then any other apps that you wanted to mention, Cal, before we wrap up?
Was there anything else? Not really. I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't think so. That's pretty much it for me.
Then let's do our song recommendations.
Oh, crap. Yeah, that's right. I totally
Um,
forgot.
I've got one ready.
So you
Um,
started off. I
yeah,
see
I'll
yours
start it
already.
off. So it's a song. My friend just put it on when we were playing board games one day. It's called "Feel Good" by Gryffin and Illenium, featuring Daya. And it's very much like it's very it was very reminiscent of like 2015, 2016. You know, there's like
That
very
EDM
generic
era, like Avicii
EDM
kind of thing.
area. Yeah.
Am I on it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very reminiscent of that. Like it's a very like basic song, like nothing like super special about it, but it's just like, it's a nice
Gets the
song.
job
It's
done.
like, it gets the job done. It's like,
I
oh
like
yeah,
it.
haven't had this vibe in a little while. It's good.
All right. That euphoria kind of EDM period where it was just like the music
Yeah.
was just purely to make you feel good and like
Yeah.
nothing else. Yeah. I mean, wait, what's the song called? It's called
It's literally
Feel
called Feel
Good.
Good.
Yeah. I get you. Okay, my one is I've been down memory lane the last week and just listening to old Maroon 5.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever listen to old Maroon 5? Like She
Um,
Will Be Loved era kind of thing?
yeah.
That kind of stuff. So there's one that really sticks out, a really big part when I was really young. I was just like really emotional, just listening to this over again, pretend I was in like some love story.
Yeah.
But it is called Won't Go Home Without You.
Won't go home
It's
without you.
an absolute banger of a K song as well. So we always like, it's always a
Okay.
K. Super, super awesome. Like peak Maroon 5 in my opinion. But yeah, Won't
Yeah.
Go Home Without You. If you haven't
never
heard
actually
it, I
heard-
don't know why, but check it out.
Yeah, I've actually never heard this Maroon 5 song. I'll
Serious.
give it a check. I like Maroon 5 though, so
Alright. Yeah, dude, check it out. I think you'd actually like it as well. It's super like chill and it's like sappy kind of thing. There's a bit of nostalgia sprinkled in there somewhere. Seal of approval. Straight up.
man. Well, thank you, Cal, for the podcast,
Thank you.
and thank you everyone for listening. Bye bye.